Okay, class, what I wanted to talk about today is how to use this software called Inkscape. Now, what Inkscape is a vector drawing software. So you can kind of think of it as something like Adobe Illustrator, but it's a lot different in a lot of ways. What I find is this is a really nice program for doing your ink drawings on top of your original drawings. And so in your original drawings, you're getting the flavor of the character, what the emotional content of the character, but then what you want to be able to do is to clean it up. Now, using your Wacom tablet and Photoshop or different kinds of software, you get a nice free-flowing drawing, okay? But then when you want to clean up the lines to do your kind of inking part, a vector program has some distinct advantages. And so I wanted to demo that for you this today. Now, Inkscape is a free software, so you can download it. It doesn't cost you any money. And so I kind of want to show you how I kind of use it. Now, you have a lot of different tools, and there's videos. You can go up there to help, and they have tutorials on how to use the software. There's some videos online. I posted some in our classroom forum. The main tools I use is this one over here, which is your this little pencil, which is draw free lines, and the one right below it, which is to draw Bezier curves. These are the two ones that I use to draw my lines with. And then you're going to go to this one up here, which is Edit Paths, and this allows you to edit it. Just give you some example. This drawing free lines. Basically, you're just going to put 2 points. Put a point, and then another point, and then it stops. Now, once you go into this mode here, okay, this is on a layer. It's a vector line. It's on a layer. You can move it around. You can scale it. Okay. You can non-proportional scale it. To rotate it, you click on it, and then you click twice, and then these rotation buttons will come up. Okay. So once it'll be in a move mode, and then click again, and now it's in a rotation mode, and it rotates around this point here. So like if I wanted to rotate from the bottom down here, I could move that point and then have it rotate that from there. And so then you move that point around however you want to rotate it. Okay, now this allows you to get into the points and being able to grab a point. Now the good thing about this particular piece is it has a flared end to it. Okay, now let me explain to you how I did that. When I created it, you have some different options up here. The one I'm going to use is called triangle out. Okay. Then when I click a point and then click another point, it's putting me, it's basically a triangle that is being lofted along this path. Okay. So when I come down here and I click this, I can open this up. Okay. Now this end is just a point, but this one is boxed. Okay. Now you see the red line in the middle. I can grab that and I can move that. And so I can make this into any kind of flow of a curve that I want. Now you have Beziers in here that you can bring in and use those too. And sometimes I do those, but a lot of times I'm just using this actual little red line. Okay. Now you have some options over here. Now this line has got what's called a power stroke on it. Okay. And what this does is allows you to do certain things to this line. As an example, it's got a start cap and an end cap. The end cap, you'll see it says 0 width. Okay. And the start cap says 0 width. What that allows us to do is I can grab this point now and I can drag this point, say in the center, and now I've got a point to point. Okay, so 0 width means it's going down to a point. Now this has got a little peak in it. If you don't want the peak, which a lot of times I don't, what that is this interpolation right here. And what you want to pick is the top one, Cat Mill Rom, and then it'll round that. And so now I've got a nice kind of a stroke that goes in and out. Okay. Now, if I wanted to box the beginning, okay, I can come in here and square the beginning, or I can come in here and tell it to be rounded. So you have different things that you can start this with. But if you want it to taper, that's called 0 width. Okay. So that's a pretty powerful little function for doing a lot of little pieces we want to do. Now this other one here, okay, this one allows you, and I'm just going to plot some single points here. Okay, and then I'm going to right click and it's going to make a straight line. Okay. Now I can come in here, same thing, I can come in here and manipulate it. Now the thing about these points is you can change the way these points work up here. So if I pick this point, I can come in here and tell it to be smooth. I can pick this one and tell it to be smooth, and so this will be more of a smooth kind of line. So same thing, I can grab the points and move the points. I can adjust Beziers or grab the line and move the line, okay? Now, one of the things that I do quite often with this one is what I want to do is go over here to my fill and stroke panel, and I'm going to, on the stroke, I'm going to give it a stroke, and then that's going to allow me to come over here and say how thick I want the stroke to be. And it's going to give thickness to this line. So now I've got a nice line in which it's a consistent thickness from one to the other. Okay. Now sometimes what I want to be able to do is to vary the line thickness. So what I will do is come in here and make it pretty thick. Let's go something like 40. Okay. And then what I can do is I can convert this to an outline. Okay. So if I go Control Alt C, then it's going to put points on the edges. And now I can grab these points and I can manipulate them separately. And so I can make this line be thick in certain places and thin in other places. Now Control L will optimize the amount of points that you need on a piece. Okay. So it's kind of an optimization, Control L. So it's also got layers, and so you can put all this on layers, turn layers on and off. We can move from one layer to another. So I'm going to add a layer. We'll take this one and I'll copy it. Now, one of the things that I think is a little strange is if you paste, okay, your Control V, it pastes it off of the edge up here. Okay. What you really want to do is paste in place, and then it'll put it right back to where it was. Okay. So paste in place, which is Control Alt V, and then it'll be right in the same place that it was on the one below it. Okay. You can group things together. You can rotate them, move them. You can mirror them. You can make copies of them. So it's a pretty powerful little program. So let's do something with it. Okay, so let's go in here, and this is one of the drawings that one of the students has done. Okay, and we'll take this in and start working on top of it. Now, what I like to do is I kind of like a non-repo blue underneath it. So what I'm going to do is on my layers palette here, I'm just going to make myself a new layer. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and give it kind of a non-repo blue color. Okay. Something about like that. And then I'm going to fill it with the color and then change it to color, and it will tone that. And then I'm going to put these in a folder, and then I'm going to make another layer and put underneath it, and I'm going to fill that with white. And so now I can turn this one down a little bit as far as transparency and give me something like that, which would be a nice piece to take in and to draw on top of it. Okay, so we're just going to save this out. It doesn't have to be that high quality, so we'll save it as a garbage file, a garbage JPEG file, and we'll just call this tracer. Okay, so in here what we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to put import. And there it is, and I'll bring it in. Okay, there it comes. And then I can just scale it up. And then we will set that down. As a matter of fact, I brought it into the second layer, so let's move it onto the first layer. So I'm just going to cut that and go here and edit, paste in place. It'll go back into the same place. And now what I'll be able to do is to set that in, and then I can lock this layer, and that way I can't accidentally move it around. And then I'm going to start drawing on a layer on top of it. Okay, your navigation, the center mouse button moves it around, and if you hold down the control key and the center mouse button, then it'll zoom, so we can zoom into it. Okay, so let's start here. We're going to use the pencil tool, and I'll tell you what, let's start with, yeah, I think I'll do that. Start the pencil tool, and we'll just go from here to here, and then I can come in and bow that, and then we start giving it thickness, and so maybe a swipe like that. And then I can come in here and let's make another one. Okay, this time we'll use our other tool, and I'm going to go from here to say maybe here, there, and there. Okay, that's going to give me a constant line. Okay, so what I'm going to do on that one is give it a thickness. So go to my stroke over here. So let's give it a thickness. That's a little bit too thick. Let's go for maybe 12. No, let's go down 8. That's about right. Okay, now I'm going to go in here, and these are corners. Okay, so I'm just going to pick both of these, and I'm going to go up here and say make them smooth, and so I'll smooth that out, and I can create this however I want. I can delete ones by clicking on them and deleting them, and then I have the end ones. Pull out however I want to deal with it. Okay, now what I can do now is if this is about what I want, okay, I can embed this in, so I can go Control Alt C, and that's going to convert it into edges. Okay, so now I can come in and decide maybe I want this a little bit thinner. I'm going to run a little bit of a gap in here. I can control that. So what I'm doing is giving my line some personality by making it go from thin to thick, so it's not all the same. Okay, that's okay. Let's scale it a little bit, something like that. Okay, let's work on this arm over here. So we'll come in and go here, there, there. And we go to our points, grab a point. Let's make that round. And now I can kind of pull this in. Let's give it some thickness. Something like that. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, I'm just going to copy that and paste it. And let's put this other line inside of here. We'll scale this in. And then I can manipulate it so it's not exactly the same. Okay, set that in. Now I'll show you another one that for some things is kind of cool. Is this button right here, in which that if you click and do Beziers like this, then watch when I do this, and then I right click to stop. Okay, you see how it's that jagged line? Okay, if you change this line to this one, okay, these are two ways this is to interpolate it. What it's going to do is optimize and give me a very nice flowing line. See how it did that? How it averaged that? It smoothed it. Okay. So that's kind of a nice thing about this too, is it allows you to kind of interpolate when you're on this one. Okay. Now, one of the things that kind of will throw you off is you're going to want to, let's go in here and make these smooth. When I am going to convert this to points, because I want to grab the points, it converts based on the red line. So when this averages this, if you go straight to points, then it will give you a jagged line. So what you have to do first is Control-Shift-C, and then that conforms the spline to this curve. Then when you do Control-Alt-C, then the points will be on there, okay? And then I'm going to do Control-L to optimize those points to give me not any more than I need. And now I can come in here and start manipulating these to get the shape that I would like. Okay. So it's kind of a powerful little feature. And let me open up one I've already done that I've taken a little bit further. Okay, so here's one I've taken a little bit further and made a few more pieces in here. And like to do the eye once I got one eye done. Okay, so what I did is I got this eye, and it's made out of these different pieces. Okay, I grouped these. So up here you have a group function. So I did this piece, and that piece, and this piece. Then what I did is holding down the shift key, I pick all three of those, and then I can group those. Once they're grouped, then I can copy it, paste it, and then right up here is a mirror function. I can mirror that, and then I can take this in. Let's move this out of the way. Okay, this is that copy, and I want it to be exact. So what I'm going to do here is rotate this. I'm going to put my hinge down here and kind of rotate this to get something that's a little bit more what I want. Okay, and so now what I can do is to come in here and manipulate each one of these a little separate. Okay, so I get a little bit different look to them. So it's not the same as that one over there. Something like that. So it's nice to be able to copy something and mirror it, because a lot of things when you're doing characters, one side is very similar to the other, but I made them a little bit different so they won't look exactly the same. Okay. So hopefully you can use this tool to help you refine some of this. A vector sometimes is a little bit easier because you're not just depending on the one stroke from your pen. You're able to actually, lay it down, manipulate it, and then get what you like. And then, that can be brought in. Okay, now to take this out, okay, so what we're going to do is do a save as. Okay, and then you want to save it as a PNG. Okay. Actually, I want to take that back. When you're saving it, don't save it as a PNG. Save it as its default Inkscape, which is an SGV. Save that because it'll retain all your information. Okay, and then when you get ready to kick this out to bring into like Photoshop, then what you want to do is go to File, Export PNG. When you do that, then you'll have your export functions over here, and you can export the whole thing. You can export parts of it. There's a lot of different options in here, how you can export it. Okay, here's where you put it, what you want to call it, where you're going to put it right here. And then you click this export button, and then that will kick that out. Okay, now let's open it up in Photoshop. Okay, so in Photoshop, it's kicking it out this way because I had both of those layers on. Okay, see, so it's embedded that on there. Okay, so one of the things you got to make sure you do is before you export it, you need to turn this base layer off. Okay, So let's export this again. Okay, so now when I bring it in, it's just going to bring that layer in. Okay, so it's got that layer as a transparent layer in here. Okay, so hopefully this can help you. You can experiment with this. I think it's a very nice tool. It's like I said, it's free. I put the link up in our forum to it and some videos that show how to use it. It shows you some more tools. But I think it's a pretty nice little piece of software to help you maybe kind of detail your characters out instead of having everything to be a pixel, but you can do vector. Okay, thank you very much.